Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey Skate Down. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. So I know if you're a Devils fan, you're pissed off. You're still reeling from the loss last night. Watching the Devils lose the way they did in Game 1 of the series to the Carolina Hurricanes, 4-1, where they're completely outplayed, outshot, out everything on the ice. You're pissed off the next day. You're waiting for the next game, but when you see the news that dropped today with Jim Rutherford talking about Quinn Hughes and what he had to say, I'm sure you're smiling from ear to ear right now. So let's talk about that in this video, so please stay with me throughout. So Jim Rutherford, during interviews today, I believe it was exit interviews, he was talking about the state of the Vancouver Canucks. He talked about the whole Pettersson and JT Miller situation. He talked about, Pettersson of what he wants to see from him coming up. He talked about the Miller trade. He also talked about Boeser. Then he went on to talk about Quinn Hughes, and this is where the big bombshell came that you're hearing about. He said that Quinn Hughes has said before he wants to play with his brothers Jack and Luke. That would be partly out of our control, Jim Rutherford said. And he also wanted to say, in our control is if we brought his brothers here to the Vancouver Canucks. And he also said that it may not boil down to money on him with his next extension. So this is shocking news. When you hear this, you know, as a Devils fan, you're excited because you know the Vancouver Canucks don't have enough prospects. They don't have enough whatever to attract Tom Fitzgerald to trade Jack and Luke to the Vancouver Canucks. So that is not happening. You could tell in the interview too when you're watching Alvin's face, when you're watching Rutherford's face, they're down, man. They just know this is a no-win situation for them, but they have to play their cards right on this. They have to see what to do with this. If he's still, after this year and next year, you're going to lose him for nothing. So does it come into the realization where you have to trade him to try to acquire some assets to restock and repile your pipeline? So this is something that I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. But Tom Fitzgerald could simply just sit back and wait and say, Quinn, I'll sign you whenever you want to come here as soon as you're a free agent. Because the way that interview went was that he's going to be a New Jersey Devil. That's what I gathered from it. He's only talking about one team. Jack and Luke are on the Devils, and that's the only situation I could think of. So we could possibly see, if there's no trade within that time, you could possibly see Quinn Hughes becoming a Devil by the year 2027. So let's talk about Quinn Hughes, 25 years old. He currently is on a contract that pays him $7.85 million with his cap hit. He's in year 4 of 6 of his current contract, and he's a UFA in 2027. Looking at this year, he was, he dealt with a couple injuries later in the year. 68 games played, 16 goals, 60 assists, 76 points. Last year was his breakthrough year. 82 games played, 17 goals, 75 assists, 92 points, and he won the Norris Trophy in 23-24. So Quinn Hughes is a player that can change any game. He is one of the best defensemen in the league. He played like it this year, even dealing with injuries. He was trying to will this team into the playoffs after the whole Miller trade and everything to try to get them there. And you saw he literally took command of each and every game. He is an awesome player. He makes any team better. And if the Devils can get him, man, that would be awesome to see him, Jack, and Luke on the ice. That would be awesome. So curious to see if when this happens. This is something that, the Devils' situation on defense, they have players locked up to longer contract extensions. We have players in our pipeline coming up in Shimon Nemeth, Seamus Casey, and Salayev. So we have defensemen that are coming up soon. I'm curious to see how this all plays out, who the Devils might move to create cap room for Quinn Hughes when that day comes. But I'm sure with open arms, Tom Fitzgerald will welcome Quinn onto this team, and to see all these three brothers on the ice would be awesome. It really would be. And, this is funny because, when you're on social media for the past couple, since we drafted Luke, we've been hearing, let's get them all three on the ice. And when you're looking at the realization of the Devils' defense, you're like, we don't need defense to use assets to try to trade for him. It didn't make sense. But, you always wanted to see them three on the ice. But it's coming down to that time, and this is just, it's awesome. If you're a Devils fan during this time period, it's awesome to see the talent we would have on the ice and the players that we would have in our pipeline. If we can get Quinn Hughes just to sign here and not spend any assets to acquire him, would be awesome. So this is just great news today. Comment below. What do you think about this? What do you think of the possibility of Quinn Hughes becoming a New Jersey Devil in the not too distant future? Comment below and let me know. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate your time. Smash that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to Hockey Skate Down. It's free. And join our hockey team. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Stay safe.